finding that softness through the rib cage, because a horse can't be explosive and tense if their entire spine is softly bent. So I'm going to wait until I actually get that and try to maintain it through my upward transition. So until I get that consistently, there's no point in me asking for anything more there. So he got off of that real nice. I do the same thing. Bending back and forth. This will eventually become my my diffusal tactic if he starts feeling stressed. Like out on a trail ride, I should be able to pick up one rein and see his whole body just come right back to me, soften, and it'll become his default. So if I start feeling any amount of tense muscle, stress through his body, I'll be able to pick up that one rein, and it'll automatically in his head mean, okay, I have to bend and soften and relax my body. And that's going to be where we get rid of some of that anxiety. That's where it becomes almost like cognitive behavior therapy for horses. I'm going to bring the stress up and then be able to diffuse it. So I gotta get the diffusal tactic. I'm not going to bring that stress up too much. That's not fair to him. We're going to keep going. So I'm still doing rib cage. Tapping a little bit with my inside leg. Good. And asking him to lift his shoulder. Good. And I'm getting it pretty well. It's not perfect, but I don't expect perfection. Just expecting better. This is something that we try to do every day, every time I ride him, until I see some really good improvement. Then we'll start doing something else. Start working on maybe getting him soft on a straight line, getting some collection, things like that. Doing bigger circles, but this is super important to be able to maintain his attention and softness, especially from a horse that's got some evasion tactics. Alright, so now that I'm getting it, I might try to bring that up into a little trot. And so right now when I ask for an upward transition, I'm going to actually reward for even a faster walk. I'm not going to be so focused on the trot that I lose sight of this softness. So if he throws a little fit, then I'm just going to ignore it and wait until he comes back to this. So we get him softening, make sure he's lifting through that shoulder. And then I'm just gonna, there. So right there, he barely sped up his walk. I could feel it probably more than you could see it. But I got resistance. He wanted to go out the other direction. And so I released with my legs and said, yep, that speed was good, and waited for him to come back to my hand. And when he did, I just did a total release and said, all right, that's where we want you to be, and then we're going to try again. So that way I don't get him off my leg here. There, good. That way I don't get him too worked up. I want him to keep thinking about, yep, no matter what, we're just going to try to maintain this softness here. We're going to go ahead and see if we can get the softness good. Good, so we got him speeding up, and he stayed soft. So I'm going to call that a win for now, and do it again. There's the fit, and I'm just going to ask him to come back to me. Good. So there, I rewarded him, I released my leg to ask for the speed, because I got the speed, then I waited for him to come back to my hand. We're going to do it again. Good, so I wait for him to come back to my hand, but I released for the speed. Good. So I'm just waiting for him to come back to my hand. Good, and there we got a good transition. I release with my legs, sat back and said that's all you had to do. Wasn't asking for him to hold the trot. If he does, great. But I just sat back and gave him the opportunity to go back to a walk. Little wind, looking for better, not good. We're just going to wait that out. Came back to my hand. We're going to go again. Good, that was better. So I'm going to give him a little release for that. There, so he self-corrected. It wasn't great, but he did do a little self-correction, so I'll give him a release for that. Do it again on this side. I'm changing up my sides a little bit. There, the opposite. That's good. Now it's going to come focus. I'm going to give him a little break here. Keep the softness thing. Good. Good job. So I'm changing my directions, kind of mixing it up, because I don't want to get so repetitive that I'm starting to make him angry. Right? It's like you get asked the same question over and over and over, and eventually you're just like, come on, man, I answered it. Right? And even if he's not answering it perfectly, I got to give him that chance to do something a little bit different. Changing the direction helps a lot. Giving him a little pause to think about it, and I'll say, okay, let's go back to it. And we're getting a little refusal here, so I'm just going to see if I can bend him. Good. Good, move forward. Good. Always better to work with this wondering than it is to try to fight the two. Good. Back to this. Good. There. Good. So I'm just creating those bumpers and saying these are my firm boundaries. This is what I'm asking of you. I'd like you to stay within those. Walk with this exercise here, and I can change that bend. We're going to go forward again. I got to make sure I have it at the walk before I try an upward transition again. Good. There you go. I want to see him not give me resistance on that bit. Good. When I change his bend. Good. Very good. To get long and low and be cooperative. Good. He's working off my leg pretty good right now. Just getting a little bit crazy with the pressure. When I first started working with him, he didn't understand the release at all. He had that history of abuse that he was kind of beaten and expected to do what was asked of him without ever getting a good release. And so that also created some resistance, because he said, well, why would I do this? Because it doesn't feel good, and I never get anything out of it. So that also created some of this bit resistance that he's just now learning how to find a release with the bridle. So, all right, let's see if we can get this trot again. Good. There, I'm just going to release for that because I got a little bit of a transition up without getting resistance. Let's see if we can get this side. See, my asks are very light. Ignore that. Get back to where I want to be. Direction. is where we're going to be. There it is. Good. Finding that nice soft spot. Learning where the bumpers are. Good boy. So I can feel a little bit of tension and anxiety with those transitions. So I'm just going to be very aware of that, make sure I don't overdo it. Make sure that I can bring him back to a spot where he's confident. And I have gotten him to do this exercise without any of that resistance. And gotten him to maintain a trot through my direction changes, maintain softness. But, you know, it's always a different day, different horse. So we're just going to work with what we've got each and every day. So this is what we have today, and I got to just work with what I have. Very good. There we go. You got off my leg real nice, sped up a little bit. That was good. Get him off my leg a little bit. You can see my cues are so subtle. I want him to find my lane, but I don't need to run and I don't need to escalate the situation. Let's see if we can. Much better. It wasn't great, but it was better. Much more thoughtful on his part. There, so you see he self-corrected on that one. A little bit of resistance, but we're just gonna, we can get back. There it is. Got a little self-correction there. Very good. 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 We're gonna find avenue if I can get a bend change there. Again, ignoring it. Where I wanted to be, letting him find that relaxation. Good. Keep going. Good. Bend change. Good. Better. Still not doing great, but we're getting better. We'll see in progress. Good. Staying firm with where my boundaries are. Good. All right, I'm going to give him a rest. Good. All right, hopefully that helps a little bit. Obviously, we're not to a point where it looks fluid, and that's totally okay. But hopefully that shows kind of what those steps are to deal with a horse that has some of those resistance and evasion tactics. And yeah, hopefully that gives you just a couple things to work on and gets you pointed in the right direction. So thanks for watching. Do a couple more now that we got a rest.